Welcome to the 7th brat, I believe.
Yep.
For the Henry Octagon and 22 long rifle. We had a blast doing this one. It was a hell of a lot of fun. I know a couple guys gave us trouble on Truth About Guns for sounding too much like a commercial.
But it's just so fun. If you've ever shot the rifle, you would agree with us. Gotta try it.
Definitely. You want to start us off?
Sure. So we had two that were kind of similar, so I'll read them both and then respond. Aaron A. Semtex says, you cannot load rimfire through a side gate. Cartridge is too fragile, and you may risk setting off the primer in the rim, so that's not really a disadvantage of the rifle.
And he's referring to our comment saying there was a lack of a side loading gate. And I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
That's okay. Francis Forek says, the reason they don't use the side loading gate is that Marlin found out in the late 19th century that a loading gate would rip the 22 cartridges apart.
Yeah, we looked into it a bit online. It's actually really tough to get information on it since the last rimfire to do so, to use a side loading gate on a otherwise tube magazine fed rifle, was just about 80 years ago. As you can imagine, there was no internet back then, so everything we have is basically third and fourth hand accounts. It looks like you guys that both the commenters are absolutely correct. We saw that the Colt had a Lightning that was 22 that had a side loading gate, and they discontinued that a while ago. And then, like you said before, the Marlin as well. I believe it was the predecessor to their 39A model. Was similar as well. Did the same thing. They also had a side loading gate that they then eliminated for undisclosed reasons, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, your explanation is as good as any I have found online. But on a side note, I'd say, I remember saying before that loading like center fire cartridges into a side gate is fairly easy and fairly quick. But rimfire ones, especially when you're loading like a dozen or more, is just a tremendous pain in the ass. So, you know, especially if you have those little plastic things, the mag loaders, where you can just dump a bunch in at a time. That with a tube loader would be really, really quick. But thank you for the question, Nick Mamales and Semtex, or excuse me, Francis Borek and Aaron A. Semtex. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, next up is Nick Mamales' question. I'm gonna get a scope for sure. He comments, what scopes do you recommend? $200 or less preferred price range. Oh, we're keeping this one.
Sorry. What's the question?
Mr. Mamales, I'm going to assume it's Nick, not Nicole. I don't know. I lost the female iteration of Nick.
Not Nicole Bailey.
It's late in the day. Give me a break. All right. So, what he was asking was, what kind of scope should he get for his Henry in the $200 or less range?
I was gonna say Miopta or Zeiss, but they are expensive. They're amazing, but expensive.
Well north of 200.
But I would say a Weaver. I know it's gotten a lot of crap, but for the price and what you want it for, a Weaver is hardy. It'll keep it zero. We've used it on a 1022 AR, AK. My buddy even mounted one on a 4570, and it held zero. So, you know, if it can hold up to the what do they call it, the hand of the fist of God or whatever, I'm sure it'll hold up fine on a Henry. Yeah. And then there was another one. We haven't had experience with it, but a couple of other bloggers have.
The Barska, the Plinkster they market. The profile's a little large for the Henry with its very slim receiver, so it might be a little awkward, but it will do the job. It'll do the job very well. An alternative to scopes you may want to consider is a Tang mounted peep sight. Very old school, very useful. It'll increase your sight radius by about 4 or 5 inches. But thank you for the comment. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.